Please accept our apologies. The first portion of this presentation failed to be recorded.
Actually goes on there. So we do new home builds and home ownership, and that's for new homeowners, first-time homeowners. So if someone calls us, they own a home and they need repairs, that's something totally different. And that's where we actually started 35 years ago, was only doing repairs. So we've kind of sort of branched out from that into new home builds. We also do budget coaching. Over the years, I have decided that it's very difficult. That's one of the most difficult things that we do, because I'm working with individuals that typically have anywhere from $750 a month to $1,200 a month. And I would, in all honesty, love to see myself be able to budget that type of income. And so that's a really hard thing for me. I am the budget coach, and it, you know, when we talk about it as a staff, it's just something that I can sit down and work up a budget with anybody that has income coming in. And the goal of it is always, you have to have $1 left over at the end of the month. And in all honesty, for some folks, that's just not possible. You know, we have one of the very common misconceptions is that we're giving away houses. No, we do not give away houses. When we build a home for somebody, they're paying a mortgage. It might not be a $1,000 mortgage. Well, it's never been a $1,000 mortgage. Our goal is to make sure that the homes that we build are truly affordable. And so a huge part of my job is making sure that I have grants that can help subsidize the construction of that home to the point that we can get that home down to less than 30% of their income. Our sweet number is 23%, because we think that is helping set them up for success, which is what we want. And I am extremely happy to stand here today and say that in the 25 years that I've been doing this, we've never had to foreclose on anybody in that entire time. We've had 2 foreclosures, and they hurt my heart so badly. We had one lady pass away, and her heir did not live in this area, did not want the property. So we basically had to foreclose on it. And then we had another person that we built the home for. She lived in it for many years until she went to a nursing home, and the same thing happened. Her heirs were not interested in keeping the home. They had no use for it. They weren't here. And so basically we had to foreclose on that home. But we've never been able to not get somebody, even through COVID, we've never been able to not get somebody over the hump, through the hump, to maintain their home. And we still go around and do checks to make sure that our yards are mowed, our yards are well maintained. And I can guarantee you drive through the city of Oak Ridge or Anderson County, you cannot tell where there is an ADFAC home. And that's exactly what we want. We want our homes to look like the other homes in the neighborhood, look just as good, if not even better. I'm already down to 7 minutes. And so I am going into the weeds, and I have got to get out. Okay. So, but I want to make sure that I talk about what I want to talk about. So preventive maintenance. We do preventive maintenance work. And that was really one of the things, one of the reasons why I was here this morning was to talk to you all about doing some volunteer projects with us. And so I wanted to make sure that, that you knew about that. We do lots of referrals to other agencies because we all know it takes a village. No agency can solve every problem. We all need each other. And I think that's why, you know, I sit here and look at Charlotte in this front row, who is Habitat. And, you know, most people think, oh my gosh, how would you all, you know, how would there not be competition? There is no competition whatsoever between ADFAC and Habitat when it comes to building homes. As a matter of fact, I hope it's okay that I say this, we sponsor every single home that Habitat of Clinch Valley constructs, every single one, whether it's in Roane County or whether it's in Anderson County, because not only do we want to be a good partner, we want to be somebody that if a Habitat client needs homeownership counseling, you know, we're here to do that as well. There is enough need in this area that I don't have to feel like, well, you know, Charlotte got that piece of property, why can't I get one? I just think that's petty and that gets us nowhere. That's not what we're about. So, you know, across the board. Now, they have different requirements than we do. They may have different funding than we do, but we have, you know, we're here to work together and to make things happen and to make sure that the need for affordable housing is being met. So we do volunteer coordination as well. And the other thing that is not listed on here is rental. We have 2 rental homes here in Oak Ridge. Rental is not our thing. You have to have a different set of people and things to make that really work. Someday, strategically, we might plan to do some type of development for maybe 24 units or something like that. I don't know when that's going to happen, how that would happen. All the stars would have to align in order for that to happen. And so far they have not, but we have 2 homes that we have. One of them was donated. We got a grant. We totally rehabbed it, made it look new. And it's a fabulous home. Both of the rentals that we have, we acquired them both about 5 years ago. We have the same residents in them that have been in them. They pay their rent faithfully every month, and I'm thankful for that. So if you would go to the next slide, please. Our volunteer need, which is really what I came here to talk to you about and to ask you to consider maybe a project or 2 with us. Primarily, we do families that have emergent needs. We work with seniors, anybody over the age of 60, I'm sorry to say, because I'm getting really, really, really close to that I'm going to be considered a senior very soon. So anybody over the age of 60 is prioritized for our volunteer projects. Anybody with a disability or a family member with a disability. We have a lot of home health care agencies that call us that say, I have a client that's going to be leaving a rehab center. Can you help me get a ramp into their home? There was a gentleman here in Oak Ridge named Dave Mason. I'm not sure if he was with this Rotary, but Sunset. Okay, years and years ago, I worked with Dave on something we called the Rent Brigade. And that was absolutely fabulous because it was a need being met, you know, lots of times very quickly because somebody was getting out within a week or so. The other priority that we have is with veterans. So we have some special money set aside that we've gotten a grant for that if you are a veteran and you have an income within our income range, then we can help with a volunteer project. So if you would go on to the next slide, really what we're talking about doing right now in this season, we are trying to work with families or individuals that need health and safety issues. And so I talk a lot about yards that are overgrown, especially when we have clients that are elderly. And we want to make sure as it gets darker earlier, and sometimes you have a doctor's appointment at 3 o'clock and you don't get home until 5 o'clock. And that means you probably didn't turn your lights on before you left. We talk a lot about trimming shrubs so that pathways can be seen, and we can install lighting so that when people who still do not have off the street parking that is well lit, we have lots of tripping hazards some way or another. Some branches may fall, whatever happens. So we try to clear those pathways, make sure they're well lit. We try to trim shrubs. Unfortunately, we have to be concerned about people hiding behind shrubs sometimes and taking advantage of people that might be walking into their own home. So potential projects, cleaning out gutters, installing gutter guards, even splash guards to pull water away from homes. Installing grab bars is a good need that we have. We also try to make sure that if you have a skilled group that can be led by a carpenter, if somebody's interested in helping us install a ramp, we would love you forever and ever. So we just have a great need for that. The impact that we have, if you'll go on to the next slide, Tony, our agency, we touch several thousand people a year. For a small agency of 8 or 9 people, we touch at least 5,000 or 6,000 a year. I know last year myself, I had to stop working in housing because we, of course, had no idea what was going on with COVID-19 when that came up. I went down to our social service office, which is where I first started at ADFAC many moons ago, as a social worker, and worked with individuals that were calling into us needing emergency assistance. Last year, I think we probably touched 7,000 or 8,000 people. So now we're trying to get back out into the community. And so we're seeing a lot of people as we go into their homes, they want someone to have a conversation with. And so when we do these volunteer projects, we're not just impacting the health and safety of their home, we're impacting the health of the resident that's there just by cheering them up, by having a conversation with them, some, in-person connection, which I don't think a lot of people thought about before last year actually happened. And a coworker and I used to say to ourselves, man, we wish we could be paid just to go around and talk to people all day. Because when we would go to a home, they would want to feed us. They would want to provide us drinks, stay for lunch, talk about this. And really we had 7 or 8 other places we had to go that day. So, but everybody, we need that contact with each other. So if you'll go on to that next slide. I'm appreciative and everyone at our agency, I know we have a lot of people that support us in this room. And so let me say to you in person, thank you. Thank you for what you do, the support you provide. Without you, we could not do what we do. And there is not a day goes by that we at ADFAC, the staff, the board, that we don't think about that we are supported by people who are, not in the room, not hearing the conversations. And so we appreciate that. To those of you that are going to our bow tie event, we are excited about that. I think it's going to be a great time. Louise Mixon can model the mask that for the Starry Night event that is happening. So we're excited about that, and thank you for your support for allowing that to happen again. I know I went over my time. Please feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever that you may have. Yes. Talk a little bit about your very helpful partnership with We have.
Will you
Yes.
please repeat the question because it's hard for them, and since we're recording.
Sure. Oh, sure. Emily has asked if I would talk a little bit about the partnership that we have with, I bet she's suggesting the Oak Ridge Land Bank, because she might know somebody involved in that. And I do have to say, we have been the recipient of several pieces of property from the Oak Ridge Land Bank that we have constructed new homes on. The land bank was created several years back to provide property, to bank property. They take them off the tax rolls and while it's banked, and I know that Habitat has also been able to access some of that property. You all would not believe the price of a little piece of property. Maybe you would believe the price of a little piece of property. Sometimes it's exactly what keeps the home from being, that $20,000 or $25,000, the cost of property is what keeps that project from being actually affordable to our homeowner, our potential homeowner. So we have, I believe, since 2007, we've gotten approximately 15 pieces of property here in the city and have constructed new homes and have at least that many homeowners here. The average price of those homes goes anywhere from about $95,000 to about $155,000, I believe. And like I said, you can't drive through the city of Oak Ridge and tell where ADFAC homes are. So that's definitely our goal. And I know that other agencies have benefited from that land bank as well. So we're very appreciative of that. And I have, Charlotte, you have a question?
No, well, I just want you to speak to the prices of the homes now that you're building.
We had a home under construction when COVID first started. So we've kind of sort of been on hold. I just got back into the housing program again in July of this year. And so we have not really been that affected because we were on hold when materials went up. However, we just received a grant to do 3 new homes here in Oak Ridge in 2022. And we have, I have very scarily reached out to our contractors because I wanted some idea of what those homes were going to cost me for next year. And I am quite fearful, actually, that even though these projects are going to be on land bank properties, 3 additional land bank properties that we have secured, I'm concerned about the cost and what that's going to mean to our homeowner. So they're typically the prices of our homes, like I said, they're anywhere from $95,000, and this is to the homeowner. This is not the actual cost, but we sell, like I said, it's not really that fun and exciting when you get down to the details and things, but what we sell the home for may not be what the home actually cost. Okay? But we have to sell the home at the appraised price. My job is to make sure that that appraised price, if it's $180,000, and then I have to sell it for $180,000. But I may have a client who is only approved for $134,000. Well, I don't want residents in that neighborhood to be upset with ADFAC because we're selling a house for 134,000 when it's actually appraised at 180 something. So my job is to find subsidy for that family so I can sell it at that $180,000 price and not lower sales prices in a neighborhood when somebody next door might be trying to sell their house because they absolutely need to sell their house or 10 months later. So my job is to find that gap money in there and so that I can lower it down without taking a hit, anybody taking a hit.
So one more question, okay?
I know that
And Cindy, hopefully you'll stay after.
I am more than happy to. I am more than happy to. You had a question, sir.
Yes, do you have contractors that build the houses or volunteers or both?
Our system works with licensed general contractors. So all of the homes that we build are Energy Star homes. They're all certified HERS homes. They're all scored for their energy. They're all inspected. You know, just like any other home that's constructed, they're inspected at regular intervals. And then we have a third-party energy inspector that comes in and gives us a score. In a HERS score, we're looking at, that's beneficial to us because that indicates the utility costs in the future for our homeowner. So the goal is to have that score as low as possible instead of as high as. One more?
Oh, sure. This is everybody. Are you the bank for these houses, or do they have to get a loan separately? Is there interest and all that kind of thing? And you say you're foreclosing. So the house is in your name or is it in the bank's name?
We are the bank in some instances. And but that doesn't mean we're servicing all of them. We are the bank. We'll sell the loan. We'll broker the loan to happen for another funding source that may be the bank. We have 3 or 4 different models, and we have that because not one situation works for everyone. So we might come to a closing table and have 4 different loans on one project. So they may have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and that's part of that subsidy coming in. So there is typically a requirement for any of those subsidies. And in some instances, they may have to live in the home for 10 years before those subsidies, before that converts to equity for them.
Well, Cindy.
And that's a lot of detail.
And Cindy said she'll stay around
I
for a
am
bit.
very much, yes, more than willing to, if somebody wants additional details, I'm more than willing to.
And I know there's an ask that we're going to respond to, so.
Yes.
Right. That's great. There are so many people that make these meetings happen. Beth, thank you for recording. Ray Smith, you don't know what Ray Smith and I often go through when we add something like adding a camera and all that stuff. And Lydia goes through all the craziness of helping me out before. And I wish I can't tell you all the people that make our meetings happen, but it's because we all like what we do and what we get to be together and do. So thanks for that. Did we have somebody for the 4-way test? We do. Sheila Michael. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Is it fun? And one more thing, John Roberts, again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. There's donuts. There's donuts in front if you need to pick them up. And Brenda, again, thank you so much.